In the heart of the bustling city where skyscrapers rose like monuments of ambition and power, Adrian Steele reigned as the untouchable billionaire CEO, a man whose name commanded fear in the boardroom and respect in the financial world, a man whose life was governed by numbers, profit margins, and contracts so ironclad that not even fate seemed capable of bending him. Yet behind the steel-gray eyes and the polished reputation, Adrian carried a loneliness he refused to acknowledge, because to admit weakness was to lose, and Adrian never lost. That illusion of invincibility was shaken one afternoon when his board delivered news that threatened everything he had built. The most important merger of his career was now dependent on him presenting himself not just as a genius businessman but as a man with stability, family values, and roots, qualities he never cared to display. The investors wanted to see not just spreadsheets but softness, commitment, and a woman by his side who proved he was more than a machine of profit. To Adrian it sounded absurd, even insulting, but to refuse meant losing billions, and so he made a decision that would change his life. He needed a fiancée, not a real one but a convincing stand-in who could charm the skeptical investors and silence the critics. That was when fate led Lily Harper into his life, though neither of them recognized the weight of the moment at first. Lily was not from his world of marble lobbies and tailored suits. She was an ordinary young woman barely holding her life together, juggling multiple part-time jobs to pay rent, carrying the heavy responsibility of her sick mother's medical bills, and clinging to her dreams even as the world tried to crush them. She entered Adrian's company as a temporary secretary, just another name in the endless sea of employees, but she stood out not because she dressed elegantly or flattered him like others did but because she was disarmingly real. When she accidentally spilled coffee on a contract worth millions, instead of groveling she looked him straight in the eye and said, "It's just paper, not the end of the world," and walked off to fix it. For Adrian, who was used to people fearing him, that boldness was electrifying. In her simplicity he saw the answer to his impossible problem, someone believable, someone genuine, someone who could play the role of his fiancée without looking like a carefully chosen actress. The proposition he made to her was outrageous: pretend to be his loving partner for 6 weeks until the merger was signed, in exchange for enough money to pay off her debts and cover her mother's treatments. Lily's first instinct was rejection. Her pride told her not to sell herself to a man who thought he could buy anything. But desperation whispered louder, her mother's medicine, the unpaid bills, the dreams slipping away, and finally she agreed, though with trembling hesitation, never imagining how deeply this choice would pull her into his world. Their first public appearance at a glittering charity gala became the stage where the game began. Cameras flashed, society gossiped, and whispers rippled through the hall. Who was this simple girl on Adrian Steele's arm? Yet within minutes Lily transformed skepticism into admiration. She greeted people by name, laughed without pretense, listened to stories no one else bothered to hear, and left even Adrian's sharpest critics disarmed. Investors smiled, journalists scribbled glowing notes, and Adrian's board exhaled in relief. She wasn't just playing the role, she was living it. But the real surprise was not for the world, it was for Adrian. Late at night, when the masks of business fell, he caught himself watching Lily laugh at the simplest things, like dancing around his pristine kitchen while cooking noodles as if she belonged there all along. He told himself it was strategy, nothing more, yet something inside him shifted, something dangerous. For years he had worn his heart like armor, untouched, untouchable, but now cracks began to form, and through those cracks warmth seeped in, warmth he didn't know he needed. The man of steel was learning the peril of pretending, because the line between fake and real was blurring fast. And as this chapter closes, the question rises, when a lie is told long enough, can it become the truth? Viewers, stay with this story, because what happens next will not only test their deal but their hearts, and before we move into the storm of Chapter 2, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the twists that will leave you breathless.